Right. Thanks, Laurie. Always being helpful. Thanks for that. Yeah. Hi, guys. Good morning. Yeah, the first session was really, really insightful. I think all the panelists has really shared a lot of very useful tips. So I hope you guys will find the second session as useful as the first session, right? So because we are going to drill into a little bit more on the influencer marketing and some of the challenges and things that you can actually grab, some of the tips that actually you can actually utilize in your business, right? But before we get started, let's do a quick warm up, guys, right? Okay, please type 1 in the chat box if you have started to use influencer marketing, right? And type 2 if you are in the midst of exploring it, right? Just type in the chat, like, which stage are you in? Yeah. So of course, yeah, what Lauren was sharing, my name is Wintson, I'm from Exabytes. So I have been actively helping businesses to do e-commerce, digital marketing, just to grow their business online and as well as, yeah, especially on e-commerce, right? Yeah, thank you guys. Oh, Jill was saying 3, no idea at all. So you are at the right place. So we are here to share with you what exactly influencer marketing is and how can you actually leverage on this, all right? So well, I can see a lot of you guys are a mixture of, you're already using or you're in the midst of exploring. So, but we are very glad to actually have our 3 gentlemen here today because I would say today we have an awesome team, awesome combination because we have a client, we have Bonnie over here who has been using a lot of influencer marketing. We have a platform, we have TikTok, we have Pandu over here, and we have also a technology solution providers, which we have Aditya with us. So I think today it's going to be really fruitful, right? So let's do a quick introduction, gentlemen, so that our attendees will be able to know you and your brand better. How about we start with Bonnie first?
Okay, good morning everyone. So I'm Bonnie Andika. You can actually call me Bonnie. So I'm currently handling social media, community, as well as influencer marketing of iStyle.id. So for you who doesn't know yet about iStyle.id, we are actually e-commerce in Indonesia of Salim Group, basically. But we are focusing only on beauty, lifestyle, and also Korean product, basically. So yeah, we engage a lot with influencers. We also engage with all community in social media, especially those like a K-pop fans, all those fandoms. So yeah, we interact with them as well.
Right, and in fact, I have checked already. So it's one of the top e-commerce platforms in Indonesia. Yeah. So that's really awesome. We really hope to hear from you. How about Aditya? Do you want to share with us a little bit more about AnyMind and yourself?
Oh, absolutely. My name is Aditya Aima. You can call me Adi. I've been in this beautiful country of Malaysia for a decade now. I have been working with multiple media outlets, and in the last 5 to 6 years, I've been involved with startups. True to that, AnyMind is probably one of the fastest growing startups in Southeast Asia. We are a technology company, end-to-end brand enablement platform, so to say. Everything from manufacturing to logistics to marketing to e-commerce. We help clients and brands reach their set goals, help them in their journey, advise them, consult with them, as well as execute campaigns for them. We also have an influencer marketing platform called AnyTag, which has an automated API access to most of the platforms. YouTube, TikTok is now onboarded, given the sheer speed at which these guys have grown. It's phenomenal. By the way, congratulations, Pandu. I've been reading the 1 billion monthly average users has been announced now. It's a great platform, wonderful team across the region. I can assure you that, Pandu. So yeah. Claps there. With respect to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, so we enable a lot of companies with a lot of data sets. I think with AI, ML tools, we are able to work across the region, bring across the fundamental, tenets that should then be utilized by one or the other. People can learn from each other, and that's what we are as part of consulting team. Yeah. So great to be here. I hope we have a very eclectic discussion, and hopefully panelists and also the participants can take away. I'm looking forward to a lot of learning too. Thank you very much for having me.
Right. Thank you, Aditya. And in fact, AnyMind has been it's already expanded to about 13 markets right now, right? Yeah, so that's really awesome. A global brands helping global businesses. And last, let's have Pandu to have a quick introduction. I think everyone knows about TikTok, but yeah, about yourself maybe.
So thank you so much, Wintson and Exabytes team for having me, having TikTok also represented here. So really great that hearing from Aditya. So it's not just me, right? Selling our platform. It's the testament is out there. So thank you so much for that, Aditya. We will take that back as a compliment. So yeah, we just reached a billion monthly active users just recently announced. So and we are a platform that is focused on inspiring creativity as well as bringing joy to all our users as well as the generic population out there. I guess maybe just a bit about myself. Just joined TikTok for about a year or so, having focused on small medium businesses, growing them. So we work with them for all of our business suites. So ads is definitely one of the strongest suites that we have, but also business accounts. And this whole topic of content creator is at the heart of TikTok also. So again, just echoing what Aditya just mentioned, that I'm also here to also learn from everyone. Excited to have this open discussions with Bonnie, with Aditya, with Wintson, and see what interesting questions that will come up and provoke some discussions and thoughts.
Exactly. I guess this session will be really, really fun, right? All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. I think I'm sure that we're going to learn a lot today, right? So although that we know that influencer marketing is really growing bigger and bigger, and in fact, I have checked the studies, right? It's estimated to grow 40% more compared to last year. So it's in terms of the value of influencer marketing is going to actually grow from about 10 billion to 14 billion. So that's massive, right? But I believe a lot of attendees today who are still, yet to master, how to maximize the use of influencer marketing in their business. So I would like to actually have these first questions to Aditya first, right? I reckon that businesses should really understand what influencer marketing really is and how to ensure that, business are using influencer marketing effectively, or whether it's different. Just now, the first session we're talking about platforms, right? Platforms. So maybe I think you can actually amplify or maybe share a little bit more on that part.
Okay, that's quite a beginning to have, right? It's an all-encompassing. There's so many layers that one can add to that to that answer. Winston, I'll try my best, and I would also invite the other panelists to kind of add in if they see there are any lacunas left. I'm sure there will be. So influencer marketing, in essence, and as you rightly said, the growth of influencer marketing is inevitable. The social commerce, the advent of platforms and feature sets and the benefits that they bring out to the consumers are growing by the day. The recent pandemic is a case in point. It is expedited, if anything, the adoption by a lot of marketeers, which were kind of sitting on the fence. There were a bit of fence sitters, if I can call them that. Trying to see which side this influencer marketing is going to go. And I completely understand why they would do that, is because of the professionalism of some of these creators, the ability for them to look at brands' requirements. There are specific guardrails that brands have to adhere to. And that is why influencers need some kind of management, some kind of consultancy, some kind of learning tools. It is very, very difficult for a lot of new creators to think about becoming a creator and becoming big and having a huge followership. There is no playbook out there. While platforms are doing their best to help creators grow within their platforms, I think from an influencer marketing perspective, for all the participants who are here, I would say that look at your key goals. Look at what is it that you sell? Point number one. Who do you sell to? Point number two. Classic marketing tenets, right? What is your product type? Where do you want that to be available? The classic 4 Ps. And then you would look at how do you enable a point-to-point, almost consumer-specific reach out, which would entail, should you then be looking at for a new product, I think awareness is key. Only then would somebody start to consider it. For a product that is already there and a refurbished brand or a relaunch of a brand, you need to kind of instill that faith in customers of the past that this product is really new. So how do you then start looking at consideration? They're aware, but then you need to kind of get them to consider that and look at it in their consideration set, because there'll be a lot of incumbents that you'll be fighting against, right? And quite possibly, I think the pandemic has made it absolutely certain that we need to get that product in the hands of the customers. So what is your e-commerce enablement? What is your online channel enablement? What are your SKU preferences? How do you look at e-commerce sitting in conjunction with influencer marketing? I don't think today, and this is an honest request to everyone who's listening in, you cannot look at influencer marketing sitting as an addition add-on to your core marketing initiatives. Influencer marketing has to sit right in the center of the discussion when you're setting out your plans for marketing, when you're looking at a wholesome approach towards your product place, price point decision making. So that's my 2 cents to it.
Right, thanks, Aditya. I think you have a very good point. It's also about objective and key goals, and always identify who, the five, who, what, when, and then you need to actually identify where your customers are before you are able to just select which channel to go with, right? Talking about channels, I would like to actually ask about TikTok as well, Pandu, right? So I actually found a study that apparently more than 90% of your TikTok users are actually 50 years old and below. I think it's a massive channel. Just now we're talking about 1 billion active users, right? So this is a very good platform to reach out to billions of younger audiences. So can you share with us how can businesses leverage on TikTok in help them to reach out to all these target audiences? Maybe you can share with us some tips over there.
Sure. This is, I guess, a very lovely question that strikes at the center of what TikTok is, right? So again, the way we look at TikTok, many I know audience here and perhaps the general population categorize us in the social media bucket, and fully understandable. I can empathize with that. However, TikTok actually is a short video distribution platform, right? Which is, there is a slight nuances to it, right? There is a following count over there. However, it's most effectively used as well as seen as a short video or content distribution platform. Now, with that said, right, so what is actually the focus or how can you extract the most value out of TikTok, right? So I guess the number one tip would be, there seems to be, there needs to be, a bit of a shift in terms of thinking how we, approach content, and it would be best that we think about our audience first and what would actually interest them. Now, combine that also with authenticity, meaning that who we are as a person, as a professional, and what actually we can, I guess, give back to the community, right? So think about the value that we can deliver and think about how to, I guess, best convey that value so that it's easily understandable. And the way to do that is by really understanding your audience, right? So for example, if it's financial tips, which is something that is very booming, I guess, all over the world, but also in Indonesia. If it's about food, right? Those two different areas have very different takes and different, I would say, entry points to how content would be consumed with regards to these two different topics, right? However, there is also, I guess, silver lining for those, which is to demonstrate benefits. I think the one of the panelists in the previous session also mentioned about it, right? Think about the benefits that the audience would really appreciate to get from this content creator or whoever posts this content, right? So again, I would say understanding audience as a basis for delivering your content. stay true to who you are as a personally as well as professionally, and think about what are your topics that you want to project and you want to discuss with the audience. And the combination of those two is usually resonates really well with the audience.
Awesome. Have you guys jotted all the notes down, the 3 notes? Understand the audience first. I have jotted down really quickly, Understand the audience first, then you stay true the authenticity, and then also how do you actually find the right topics and right position yourself as well, in a way. Awesome. Thank you, Pandu. All right, since we're talking about having content, targeting all these younger audiences as well, I think ID, I think most of your customers are basically the younger groups, because I think you guys are very much on beauty products, cosmetics, all these kind of product range, right? So, okay, as a brand who have been actively using influencer marketing in the brand, right? Can you share with us how you exactly leverage on this influencer marketing for ID?
Yeah. So actually, I think my explanation is quite an example of what Pandu and also Aditya has explained before. So yeah, in iStyle, as we are an e-commerce for beauty and also Korean lifestyle in Indonesia, actually we also witness how the beauty industry and Korean lifestyle business has been rapidly growing in Indonesia as well. We have seen how the social media penetration actually in population also very high. The Korean waves has enormously increased in Indonesia as well. I think nowadays many influencers are also specializing in beauty segments, as well as Korean-based influencers have emerged in Indonesia. So yeah, in iStyle we also actually, as a part of beauty and also Korean lifestyle e-commerce, basically we would like to join the hype by engaging with influencers both in beauty and Korean segment itself. So I think something that I can share also with everyone's here, normally how we in iStyle leverage our influencer marketings in KOL segments. I think Pandu is very understanding about this, because what I would like to share is normally what we do in TikTok, basically, or in other social media platform. So normally, like how we do things in influencer, basically, like for example, we use it as a beauty tutorials, of course, very common. Yeah, very currently it's very happening as well. So normally beauty influencer marketings allow us to promote our products normally through how to videos for makeup, for cosmetics. So influencers can typically like use our products in how to videos. They show off their skills and subtly promote our brand, of course, and product throughout the tutorials. And I think another one how we actually leverage our influencers marketing also through like a skincare routine video. That's also quite common, I think, for Pandu. So normally beauty influencer marketing doesn't need to be promotional in nature. I would say that, even though of course we as a marketing normally at the end of the funnel, our BOD always asks about sales conversion, but in nature it doesn't need to be promotional basically. So we can actually ask our influencers to create some kind of like a content on their skincare routines, and then the post usually give the audience like a sneak peek into the day-to-day lives of the influencer itself. So actually by having this way, the content seems more, I would say, natural than promotional in the nature. Yeah. And the last one also that is very common we use to leverage our influencer marketing and also social media is of course giveaways, because giveaways have the potential like a power to generate tremendous engagement and reach of the audience. Normally how we leverage giveaways through influencers is that we usually offer our product as a prize for the giveaway, and then their followers can enter the competition to win the product itself. So the influencer like will create a content around the product and post it on their account, and then they even may ask the audience like to tag their friends, follow our brands, and even share the post to actually increase the engagement. I think that's how we normally leverage influencer marketing in iStyle Wintson nowadays.
Right, that's a very practical tips
Yeah.
how you actually use it. And then if you're running a beauty or personal care products, right, this one of us how to use all these influencers to demonstrate how
Correct.
to use it,
Correct.
and then
Correct.
they themselves are using it already, right?
Yeah.
Of course, they are also very beautiful, most of them, right? But I always have this one question. Do you No, do you go with those influencers with huge follower base?
Yes, we do, but it doesn't set it doesn't set the term like that. I mean, yeah, we have like a lot of influencer category, right? There is nano, there is micro, macro, and also mega. So normally, what we can share is that what is being an objective to your business in doing influencer marketing would actually determine what kind of influencer we are going to work with. So that's the first key, that how we determine the influencers that we are going to work with. So typically in iStyle, we have two types of objective in running influencers marketing campaign. So the first one, we are going to build awareness and reaching audience as much as possible. Of course, for branding objective, we would like people knows about iStyle as much as people in Indonesia knows about iStyle, who we are and what we do. And the second one is actually goes to another funnel. So it's more like driving consideration, so people can consider our campaigns, our product promotion, and even generating conversion after all. So that's the second objective that we may use in influencer marketing. So if we go for the first objective, which is to build awareness and reach as much as possible audiences, so I think I could recommend going for mega influencer, or at least for a macro influencer. So here we refer mega influencers to normally like a social media stars with 1 million plus followers. They are celebrities, or whether in the traditional sense like actors or singers or TV stars, or even nowadays there are lots of like internet personalities that have risen to prominence in recent years, actually, like the recent social media personalities come up a lot nowadays. So these are the people you want to work with, basically, if mass media, if mass brand awareness is your actually your business goal. So, but something that we need to also understand and take a note is that normally these mega influencers, they don't have like an intimate relationship with their followers. So they are sometimes, yeah, considered less trustworthy, I would say, from the brand perspective. When it comes to the brand partnership. So normally like a social media influencer with smaller, more engaged followings actually will works better. So that's why I would say, if we put the first objective is actually to reach as much as possible audiences, mega follower could be your right choice, because yeah, they have a lot of followers. So basically, yeah, those followers can actually see your campaign, and you get that kind of objective for brand mass communications. But I think if you have the objective at the second one, or another funnel like consideration or even conversion, I would recommend to go for like a more specialized micro influencers or nano influencers, because normally, based on my experience, they were more, like they're more intimate with their followers. Even those followers, those people who follow them, basically is not only like knowing them as a public figure, but as well as knowing them like personally in persons. Normally it's their friends, their colleagues, their families. So I think whatever they do, those micro influencers regarding our marketing campaign will actually impact more influence toward their followers as well, because these people is basically is a niche circle that they know internally. So yeah, I think they are, if I can say also, based on the comparison between mega or macro and also micro and also nano influencers, I think I can let's say put some list on what is the benefit of having micro compared to mega influencer. The first one is in terms, I would say, maybe credibility. Normally many micro influencers actually are a specialist in a particular niche. So the content that they share is actually related to that niche, is considered more credible, right? Because they are like a specialist itself. The second one, in terms of a cost, of course, as a brand, as a users, in terms of cost, less investment is actually required to work with a micro influencer, for sure, compared to mega one, which makes the partnership itself is actually more affordable for us. And the third one is normally engagement, because the macro influencer tend to have like a better engagement rates compared to like a mega or macro, because their audience can easily relate with not only the content but also with the influencers themselves. And yeah, the next one is, of course, when we go to conversion or even consideration, actually macro influencers are more likely to turn warm leads into subscriber or even customer directly, because they have like a very highly engagement. So yeah, I think that's very works better if we have like the objective is to influence and goes to consideration and conversion after all. Yeah,
Right.
that's for me.
Wow, that's a really like, again, I have jotted down on the notes, right? It's not necessary for all the brands to go on the, the super popular influencer stars and things like that. It depends on your marketing partners and in which stage that you are in and what are you going to actually do it. I think, in fact, a combination of macro and micro and nano would be good as well, because macro will be the one who is going to tell, okay, this is a new product, new brand, right? And then the micro will be able to actually amplify from a smaller point of view, right? And yeah, the intimacy, the credibility, the engagement, all these kind of things are really the things that we have to take note. And I think a lot of us might want to start small, might not have the affordability to actually get, superstars to actually come on board with us to actually do that. So we can start with nano or micro first. So that would be something really useful. Although the pool is small, but the pool is quality, right? So talking about, since we have known that there are so many things that we have to take into consideration when we are selecting which level of micro influences that we are in, I think the next thing that we have to know is how do we gauge the effectiveness of every single influencer marketing campaign that we do. So I would like to actually have Aditya to share with us, I think matrices are really important to gauge the effectiveness and the success of the campaigns, right? So in a point of view, what are the matrices or the things that we have to take into consideration in gauging the effectiveness?
That's a brilliant question. And I think it is pertinent to understand first, as again, Bonnie kind of explained it to everyone, the classic pyramid states, right? Given the sphere of influence that an influencer that is mega or a celebrity has over its follower base versus what the micro or nano has in terms of niche base. I think time has come to kind of look beyond, just posts, clicks, comments, and shares. Advocacy is good. It is good to have advocates who are talking about your brand, who are referring you, who are making your brand appeal to their niche cohorts. And those people are then following you, and then they, as Bonnie again kind of alluded to earlier, allows you to then get that brand followers to kind of come and subscribe to that brand. But I think for someone who's starting out, somebody who's new to this world of influencer marketing, I think the few things that you need to kind of start looking at is, of course, looking at subscribing to expertise. It's very, very important that engage with your platform partners. The TikTok, the YouTubes, the Facebook, Instagram partners are there. They're also, if you're too small, and then you can come to partners like us who have a wherewithal of working with all of these partners to kind of give you a strategic input into what platform kind of works for which kind of content. So, 5 years ago or 4 years ago, right at the infancy of influencer marketing, it used to be hero, hub, hygiene kind of content, right? People were still kind of wrapping their heads around what is hero content and how do I differentiate between hero and hub, and how does hub become important for my business? But hero will cost me an arm and a leg. Hub does not appeal to people or to my board internally. So if I can't even influence my internal stakeholders, how do I influence somebody who doesn't even know about my brand?
Exactly.
And then the hygiene videos was about it's the quality is bad, the efficacy of that video kind of completely loses its sheen, which is completely transformed, Winston. If you look at the ecosystem, influencer marketing is seen very, very as a very important tool, even by creators themselves, because they are now depending on it as their livelihood, which is why they are putting in that additional investment of time and effort at their end to become better and better. But I think from an efficacy point of view, and again, going back to brands that are small, it is very important that you look at how do you start looking at performance-based influencer marketing. Now, and there are platforms like ours that are able to bring in reams and reams of data sets and provide you inputs or consultancy that does not cost you an arm and a leg, right? It gives you access to a platform, to your brand, that you can completely use for free at least in the initial models, to try and estimate and understand what the influencer marketers can bring out for you, right? And in terms of discoverability, relevance, the risk of using an influencer. Now, while you are using a nano or a micro influencer, there is a higher risk. What happens if that influencer has done something in the past that kind of did not sit very well with certain consumers? Do I alienate those consumers? Second is resonance and relevance. Is that influencer, be it a celebrity, be it a macro or a nano micro, is that celebrity going to create resonance with my brand? Is there some kind of respect that people have for that influencer when the influencer speaks of that brand? Another part is, what is the kind of reputation that influencer has? And would there be any positive rub-off for me? I think another thing which you should be, this is again is over and above reach and reach of the influencer. Of course, we all understand reach is an important metric. But as you yourself alluded a little while earlier, when you were kind of distilling Boni's thoughts, you said it's very important to then look at micros and nanos maybe, because they are talking to a niche, but that is a quality niche, right? So I think these are parameters that are important, but the most important parameter is return on advertising, to sales. What is it that you are getting as part of sales? How do you then track it? So matrices like, click measurement or click to conversion measurement. You should look at, you utilize effectively the social chat ecosystem. So social conversations are going to be becoming very, very important, which is why, conversational commerce is picking up, and that will be the next big boom in influencer marketing, right? So it is very important that you have people who are sitting at the fence to try and start to consider your brand. How do they consider your brand? You look at the three matrices that Boni kind of alluded to earlier, right? I'm not going to repeat that. Then when you've chosen that, you need to start looking at, what is my incremental reach going to be? Do I look at choosing 5 large influencers? Why? Most of their followers are duplicated. Why would you look at those 5? Just look at one. Why do you have to invest so much of money? Because you have the money, that's fine. Because you want to come out of the ears and eyes of people. It doesn't work like that any longer, right? So you look at efficacy of what your investment is going to be, right? Second is going to be, how do you look at relevance and risk parameters? Is there any risk to your brand because of the reputation of the influencer? And third is about click to conversion. If people are clicking on, and they are connecting with it, with the influencer, or the content piece that the influencer has created, for which I think quality is paramount. You need to be very clear that the quality cannot go down just because you're using a micro influencer. Why can't a video or a post done by a micro or a nano influencer just look as good as a celebrity? There are platforms, and we have as a company, we have an entire unit called Creator Growth that helps creators, who are probably Instagrammers, to help them grow on TikTok and vice versa. And which is why platforms are themselves investing so much of effort and time helping creators grow, helping partners like us grow with those creators, right? So come to us, speak with us, which is why I say subscribing to expertise is very important. At least you don't go down the road of, burning your hands and fingers, right? And the last piece that I would like to add is grow over this thing about these many likes I got. That's fantastic. Unfortunately, it is a fact. It is not a misnomer. It's not something which is unheard of. But bots exist even in social media. There are ways in which bot ecosystems work. So invalid tracking is how many of those. While platforms do it very well, but when it comes to influencers and one influencer in the nano space liking the other influencer in the nano spaces piece, even though not resonating with the brand, there's a clique. You use 500, 600 nano influencers over a period of time in a country like Indonesia, you would see that there's a clique they form. They help each other out, right, to kind of boost their post. So how do you effectively understand? Is there a platform that reads through the comments that are coming in? So, for example, Winston, I use you, and you are this fashionista, and you're talking about spectacle frames. People are talking about, Winston, how good your hair is. Laureen kind of alluded to your haircut earlier, right? People are talking about how good your smile is, or you're using Apple AirPods. They're not talking about your spectacles. So it is effective that you need to understand, right? You need to effectively distill that conversation of the followers to that post and see how much of a resonance, how much of an uplift did that brand get. So look at effective capturing of that data, and all of that cannot be done manually, guys. It has to be done through data streams, which are run through algorithms, which is why platforms are important. Platforms like us also try and help you out, but you have your own social media platforms that have access to reams and reams of data, right? So look at that, believe in that, and hopefully start on your journey. journey well.
Thanks Aditya for that. I think in short, guys, if you guys have you need any consultancy, or maybe you are planning to subscribe to a third party to actually help you, go with Aditya. AnyMind would have the solution and consultancy for you, because Aditya is really specialized in all this influencer marketing. I think Aditya is right, where you need to actually get the tools to just get all these data, because you are unable to just gauge everything manually. You need data to support what they have done in the past, how's their performances, whether they are suitable for you to be the next influencers that is resonating with your brand and things like that. So all these things, sometimes you can gauge it manually, but I think it will be even more efficient if you can get a system or tools to actually help you to actually see all these things, which I believe, Aditya, you have the solutions for that, right?
That's true, but it's not really a sales pitch. I am genuinely, requesting all, marketeers that are pretty nascent in their journey to subscribe to an expertise. It is very important. So I understand a lot of people have lost faith in the agency ecosystem, where they think that the agency partners are, just going to take a percentage out and not add. You cannot be farther from the truth. The fact is, there is so much learning that is there that can be distilled down. Imagine if Bonnie kind of listed it down as not just as a client, but as a creator. But that distilled information would have taken him some real heartburn and toil. It does not come easy. It comes because he has invested, he has learned, he has made an error, he has again learned. So there has been a constant, I would say, levers that have been changed and overchanged over a period of time. So there are a lot of these partners out there, but I would still implore to everyone, look at and even talk to your TikTokers, the TikTok as a platform. Talk to YouTube as a platform. You had a guest earlier. Talk to guys like him. But those guys then would talk to agencies, because it is manually not possible to go to every little SMB and SME. So look at partners that can help you bridge that gap with the large platforms and help you grow in your journey.
Right. Thanks, Aditya, for that. I think actually I have a few more questions that I wish actually bring it out for you guys. But I think due to the time constraint, and we have a lot of questions for all of you guys. Let's just pick one of it first. I think that's for Pandu. That's about TikTok, right? So Serene was asking, she's from the hotel industry and would like to know if there's any advice on how can she leverage on TikTok to promote the hotel. Pandu, do you have any advice for that?
Tons. Where to start? I'll answer this, but I think that there are golden nuggets from what Aditya mentioned, and also Bonnie. So I also want to expand a bit on that. So in terms of hotel, right? So think about the different touch points whenever a consumer comes into your property, and by property I don't mean it's just the physical hotel, but also the entire experience when interacting with your business, right? So think about those, and think about what are the different kind of content and stories that you can build on top of that, right? Think about the different angle that you can explore that would actually resonate with the audience because it brings benefit. For example, if it's customer service, not that sexy, I know. Usually people post about the glamorous view, they post about the pool and all that, right? You may have that, but one of the areas that you can also explore is customer service. How well your hotel service your customers, and what are the different types of I guess inquiries that come in. Doesn't necessarily need to be complaints, right? But different inquiries, and perhaps there could be some tips that are useful for the audience, right? For them to to use when they come to your property, but also maybe a bit generally. But then that also sets your, I guess, expertise, perhaps alluding a bit to what Bonnie and Aditya also mentioned, as a property that not only cares about their own, but also well-being of the general population, right? Audience like you, me, and everybody else here, right? So that's one angle. And then if it's the property itself, the room, the pool is definitely one angle that is commonly used as well. But how is it different from it's different in many ways, but what can be, I guess, put forth as a I guess key focus for the audience, and think about again the way you present it, right? So how would it be well received by the audience? Not trying to amplify the space a bit. Not only that, but also the way you present the story, right? So why should they care in the first place? So if you, I guess that would be two of the many different angles, but I hope that is generic enough that you can start thinking about the different, again, touch points for each consumer whenever they have experiencing interacting with your property. So that's, I guess that's one. Another, I guess, would want to generalize a bit on the what Aditya as well as Boni had said earlier about there seems to be this pyramid, right, which is traditionally true, I guess, and it is still true, although I guess with the the different platforms and how it changes across time. I guess I would say that TikTok right now comes in as that gives that different angle, right? So where perhaps traditionally what Boni shared makes perfect sense, right? That macro influencer has pros and cons, but perhaps the reach is one of the biggest plus points for them. But maybe in terms of I'm not sure if credibility is the right word for it, but I guess everyone understands what that means, right? Whether they are completely, I guess, expert in that post, I guess, or whatever they're sharing, right? And nano is or micro is someone who is more expert on a specific topic, but that doesn't need to to determine how far-reaching they can be, right? So platform like TikTok, again, as we are a content distribution platform, we care more about the content and the quality itself, and puts, I guess, followers and following counts as something that is secondary, right? So if it's something that is relevant, if it's something that is useful, well liked by many people, then why not put it out there to even more people, to even more audience, right? If it's helpful for a lot more people, then of course we are going to distribute. So it's not uncommon actually to find many content creators that that their following counts would fall under that nano bucket perhaps, or macro bucket, but they have like tons, like zillions of these likes, these comments,
Exactly.
because it just resonates with the audience, right? And there is, although I wouldn't say that there is a formula per se as to how we can replicate this, but there is guidelines, there is best practices that we can follow, and posting, I guess, regularly as a start to find that pattern that works for you, for your business, a very good starting point in order for you to extract, again, like alluding to what Aditya said, also, that expertise comes with time, comes with effort also, right? Trial and error is a part of the game also.
Yes.
And that builds your expertise so that you can double down on what actually works for your content as well as your content creator.
Yeah, there's always a learning stage on that as well. But of course, thanks, Pandu, for the that's a really good tips that you can actually share it across with all of us. I think it's not just applicable to hotel industry, but it can be used across some of the different industries as well. Right? Thanks, Pandu, for that. Second questions I would like to actually address it to Boni is that is from Kumar, is that how do we disengage, because as you have been engaging with all these influencers, how do you disengage and transit between influencers for your business? Yeah, business in context is, for example, social media management service agency and the F&B industry. Yeah. Boni, did you see that questions, Boni?
Sorry.
The very first question. Yeah, it was one of the very, very early questions in the Q&A. How do you disengage and transit between influencers?
Okay, so I think it's basically as what Pandu also and also Aditya has mentioned. Normally, when we talk about influencer marketing or even another marketing campaigns in another marketing channel initiative. Actually, it's like a journey. So it's not some things like, like we do and then we say, okay, this doesn't work, and then okay, we change to another one. So normally like we do like things simultaneously. We are not only talking about even influencer marketing itself. Normally like we do across all marketing channels, and then even in influencer marketing we do also in mega, we do also in macro, we do also in micro, and even in nano. So actually the way we see things is against it depends on metrics that we normally also decide as the objective that we would like to achieve. As what I mentioned earlier, maybe I would say micro and also nano works better for consideration. It doesn't mean that actually mega and macro will not bring anything to your business also. It's not that way. I mean, if we talk about, okay, let's say example, like in terms of return that you maintain. For example, if you invest for mega, or well, the cost is like 10 times higher, but in terms of sales, it's maybe just 2 or 3 times higher than micro, then maybe I would suggest if you have a limitation on budget, you can go for the micro or even nano. But it doesn't mean that, mega and macro one doesn't give you anything. So it would be very depending on what kind of objective or angle that you are going to get in, and also how the resources that you have at the current set of time. So I think I would normally suggest just again balancing of what you have, your resource, and see whether this can actually get the optimum objective that you would like to get. Then I think that is the parameter where you can see whether you need to go extra miles and you just get enough to this point by using the existing strategy that you're currently using.
All right, thanks, Bonnie, for that. I think, Bonnie, you have answered a few questions at the same time, because I realized that there are a few questions that's asking about costs, whether the average cost, the rate cut, and things like that. You have actually shared that it could be as high as 10 times more than the macro and nano influencers. And the technique to actually determine which one to go with, what is the cost that you have to actually put in, is depending on the resources that you have, and then also what are the objectives that you are actually targeting, right? And then of course, you also have shared a few practical tips in terms of how do we engage with all these influencers. I think we can actually go with that route in terms of determining the cost and which influencers that you should go with. That will, because due to the time matters, I have actually summarized this for Rachel's, Su Eng, and also Wins asking about cost. Because I have another very important questions that I wish I should ask Aditya. Also summarizing 2 questions from here, asking about the key metrics to determine that, and then also there's one duplicated question similarly to the duration to track the campaign effectiveness. Yeah, so this is one of the things that you don't really see instant results, right? But I'm not too sure. But what's your take on this one?
Yeah, the holy grail. I wish I had that. The life would be so much easier. But yeah, I have tried to take the liberty of answering some questions in the Q&A block. I have also dropped in the chat window, I've also dropped a link to our influencer marketing, the regional influencer marketing report that will be launched by us tomorrow. We'll also have country-wise marketing report across 13 markets in JPAC. Which will also follow after that. So try and follow us on the AnyMind LinkedIn channel. I think that is where we drop all of this. I have shared the link. If anybody goes there today, you would see a 404 error. So this is just something that it is a report that will consolidate a lot of responses. I think that Pandu and Boni and I have given due to our experience working in influencer marketing, the trials and tribulations, so to say. To your pertinent question, I think there is no timeline per se. You need to set a very clear, definitive approach towards where will influencer marketing sit within your matrix of marketing per se. So if you are a new brand, please do not go ahead and burn yourself with these mega influencers. If you are a new brand with not so much of money, start with micros and nanos. Look at creating credibility. Second, so it will answer the prior question that you had, which is with respect to efficacy as well, Wintson. So I'm trying to kind of blend the two answers, right? Second would be in terms of, if you are looking to push a brand that is a product and the product has already competitors in the market, I think it is important that and there's a lot of flux there, then of course you'll have to start moving towards a more mega and a top star kind of an approach, where at least from an awareness point of view, you can quickly get that awareness. Then that can happen within a 3 to 4 week period. Again, this is not, please don't hold my words as gospel truth. This is just This is just an idea that I'm sharing, right? So yeah, 3 to 4 weeks, and you would see that. And again, each of these platforms will give you the reach that you've achieved over the first week, the second week, the third week. If your incremental reach is still higher every week, then let it be. Let that propagate, right? And then I think what is most important as a metric for especially the new brands that are in some way going after the incumbent brands that are already there in the market, established ones, always look at your click to conversion. If people are coming and resonating with your post, see if they are also going ahead and either clicking your brand, looking at your owned and operated assets, and at least doing that, right? If not, you should also track if you have an e-commerce partner, any marketplace that you have your products on, if that is converting. And there are a lot of partners again out there, guys, that can help you track that conversion capability, right? The return path of data is very important. See, I cannot say enough about the importance of data, importance of understanding, because there's a lot of data out there, guys. You just need an ability to look at that data stream so that you can get an insight, because everybody is not attuned to looking at data, right? It is important that that data can be crystallized for you, distilled for your specific category, product type, your product life cycle, your go-to-market strategy would then have to encompass all of these prior to be going forward. So no short answer. If you're starting on a journey, subscribe to expertise, go after looking at the best, and I wish you all the best with your journey ahead.
Yeah, Aditya, you have a very good point. You don't look at the duration of the campaign effectiveness, but you look at which objective that you're doing. For example, you're talking about click conversion, or maybe sometimes I would see some of the influencers doing promo codes, for example, promo codes. So you can actually track, if you're considering influencer marketing, you can actually track how's the performance of the promo code, as simple as that, right? So if you know that these influencers are not, if the influencers are able to actually contribute to conversions by redemption of the codes, then of course you will see the instant results. Of course, it also depends. Like what Bonnie was saying, the mega one, maybe, it's more about brand awareness on the top part. And then Aditya was saying that 4 weeks, maybe. I'm just saying.
If I could just get 10 seconds of indulgence, there are also partners that can help you run performance campaigns with 100, 200, 300 influencers, the nano and the micros, in a 3-week period. Now, for that, you can't throw people behind. You can't go to a bespoke agencies that can then look at only handling 10 or 15 influencers. You need to then start looking at the return of investment that you can get at an aggregated level of incremental reach, incremental dependability, the resonance, word of mouth, all of that. So imagine if you are employing 100, 200 influencers over a 2 to 3 week period, there can be a huge resonance to that. And again, it does not cost you an arm and a leg.
Agree, thank you. Lauren, if you don't mind, can I just take one more minute, because I wish to actually hear, the last piece, one sentence of advice from Pandu, Bonnie, and Aditya for all the attendees.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, let's have Pandu first, the one line that you want to actually, one piece of advice that you want to give to our attendees today. A very quick one.
Yeah, sure. So I guess
they want to actually do influencer marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I guess think about what's next. So yes, the step for doing influencer marketing is one, but suppose that is well delivered, and then what's next for your business, right? So make sure that you are intentional about your efforts, and it has, I guess, a place in the longer term plan for sustainability of your business.
Thanks, Pandu. How about you, Bonnie?
Yeah, I think from me, understand your audience comes first. So basically, it leads you to understand like how to find the right influencer for your brands. So if I can give you a shortcut, you can easily see by who are those actually following your influencers, because sometimes, okay, we talk about the influencer itself, the persona is already matched with our brands, but if their audience is not much, then you cannot get also what is being the objective of your brands. I mean, it's a very tricky example, just my industry, which is the beauty industry, right? Maybe I can go for a pretty influencer itself, but mostly those pretty influencers, they might be followed by guys instead of girls, whereas actually girls is our main target market, right? So I think this is very tricky. So basically, understand your audience is the main priority.
Yeah, well, that's a very good point. The followers of the influencer is also important. Yeah. How about you, Aditya?
As a segue to what Bonnie just said, understanding the demographic of the followers of the influencers, understanding which areas they come from, what is their interest and affiliations, are they genuinely looking out? So don't be afraid of data. There are enough partners out there that can distill that data for you and crystallize it in a form that is easily palatable, easily tenable, right? So look at it, don't stay away from data, yeah? All the best.
Yeah, thank you. Data, guys, data. Don't assume that this influencer is good for you, but look at the data, demographics, and things like that. Thanks, Aditya. Thank you so much, guys. I think I really love these sessions. We have really different perspective and point of view. Thank you, Aditya, Pandu, and Bonnie for the awesome session. Over to you, Laurie.
All right, thank you so much. So if you guys enjoyed this panel discussion, make sure you leave a comment, say thanks in the chat box right now, because I think they did a wonderful job. I think you guys really, really killed it. You smashed it. And there was just so much practical advice that came through, especially about the touch points, keeping it real, and really catering to people who might not have that much of a budget when it comes to social media and influencer marketing. So thank you so much for highlighting every single one of those points. I'd like to thank you once again for being part of our event. And please take care, stay safe, and feel free to stay on with us for our last panel discussion. I'll see all of you real soon. Thank you once again to Wintson, Aditya. Thank you so much, Pandu and Bonnie. So have a great day, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.